Have you ever noticed something just a little off with your elderly parent or grandparent when they wake up in the morning? Maybe they seem more tired than usual. Maybe their voice sounded strange. Or maybe they complained about feeling sweaty, sick, or just not themselves. And you brushed it off. You told yourself, it's probably just old age. Maybe they didn't sleep well. Or they're just having an off day. But deep down, something didn't sit right. Something told you this wasn't normal, but you didn't know what to do or if it even mattered. Here's the truth most people don't talk about. Some of the earliest signs of serious illnesses like cancer can show up during the quietest part of the day, right after waking up. They hide in plain sight. They creep in slowly. And by the time we realize what they really mean, it's sometimes too late. You see, when someone you love is aging, every small change matters. And I know how easy it is to miss the warning signs when life gets busy and routines feel familiar. But what if I told you that paying attention to just 5 simple morning symptoms could give you the power to protect someone you love? In this video, you're going to learn 5 specific signs to watch for when an elderly loved one wakes up. Signs that could be quietly pointing to something much more serious, like cancer. I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to help you see what might be hiding in the background and what you can actually do about it. So stay with me until the very end, because knowing these signs could help you catch something early, when it still can be treated, and when you still have time to act with love and intention. And hey, if you're watching this because you care deeply about the health, comfort, and dignity of someone you love, go ahead and comment, "I'm here," down below. Let's start a conversation. Let's look out for each other. And don't forget to subscribe to Elderly Healthy Wisdom, where we talk about real issues, real signs, and real ways to keep our seniors safe and well. Let's dive in. Imagine this. Your father, once strong, active, always the first to wake up and greet the day. He starts sleeping longer, but even after 8, 9 hours in bed, he wakes up groggy, drained, like the night didn't refresh him at all. At first, you think, maybe he's not sleeping well, or he's just slowing down. It's probably nothing. But then it starts happening every morning. He drags his feet. He struggles to sit up. He yawns through breakfast and barely has the energy to hold a conversation. And you chalk it up to aging. But here's something many people don't realize. Persistent morning fatigue isn't always just a sign of growing old. It can be your body's quiet way of sounding the alarm. See, in some types of cancer, like leukemia, colon cancer, or even lung cancer, fatigue comes not from lack of sleep, but from how the body is fighting behind the scenes. Cancer cells consume energy at a relentless pace. They trigger inflammation. They throw off your blood sugar levels overnight. And when morning comes, the body is already exhausted before the day begins. It's not just tiredness. It's a deep weariness that no amount of rest seems to fix. And here's where many families make a painful mistake. They assume it's normal. They suggest going to bed earlier. They buy new pillows, blackout curtains, and sleep aids. But no matter what you do, the fatigue lingers. So what can you do? Start simple. Track their sleep patterns for 1 week. Write down what time they go to bed, when they wake up. And most importantly, how they feel when they wake up. Are they refreshed or are they worn out? If rest isn't restoring their energy, it's time to talk to a doctor, not to panic, but to pay attention, to rule things out, to catch something before it grows louder. Because when it comes to cancer, the body whispers before it screams. And persistent morning fatigue might be the whisper that saves a life. But fatigue isn't the only subtle sign that hides in the early hours. Let's talk about another one. A soft but telling change in your loved one's morning voice. It's easy to overlook, but it may be saying more than you think. Picture this. You visit your elderly aunt one morning. She greets you with a warm smile, but her voice? It's scratchy, raspy, like she's been shouting in her sleep. You ask if she's okay, and she waves it off. "Oh, it's just the dry weather," she says. "Probably allergies." You nod, not thinking much of it. But then, it happens again, and again, every morning. Her voice sounds strained, thinner, rougher, almost like it takes effort just to speak. By midday, it seems a little better, so it slips your mind. But here's something you need to know. Persistent hoarseness in the morning isn't always harmless. Especially when it lingers day after day, with no sign of a cold, no sore throat, no fever. In older adults, changes in voice quality, particularly early in the day, can be an early warning sign of throat cancer, vocal cord tumors, or even lung cancer. Yes, even when there's no pain. Why in the morning? Because overnight, when the body is still, the inflammation in the throat and lungs settles. It builds quietly, and when they first speak in the morning, that's when the strain is most obvious. And yet, how often do we brush it off? We say it's the heater. We blame snoring. We assume it's acid reflux or seasonal changes. But when hoarseness sticks around, especially beyond 2 weeks, it's your loved one's body asking for attention. So what can you do? Monitor it. Not with fancy tools or complicated routines. Just listen. Make a quiet note each morning. How does their voice sound? Is it improving or getting worse? Is it stronger later in the day or consistently raspy? If it doesn't clear up after 10 to 14 days, especially without other cold symptoms, don't wait. It's time for a gentle conversation with their doctor. It's time to ask questions, not out of fear, but out of love. Because in many cases, early detection leads to early treatment. Early treatment saves lives. And hoarseness isn't the only thing that hides in the quiet hours. There's another subtle change, one your loved one might not even be aware of, because it happens while they sleep. Let's talk about that next. Your mom. She chuckles one morning over breakfast and says, "I had to change my pajamas again. They were drenched." She waves it off with a grin. "It must be this weather, or maybe I'm just turning into a sauna at night." You smile at her. She seems fine, so you don't ask more. But then she says the same thing the next day, and the day after. Every morning, she's waking up soaked. Her bed sheets are damp. Her pillow's wet. She starts keeping an extra nightgown near the bed. And still, no fever. No flu. No reason, at least none that makes sense. Here's what most people don't know. Drenching night sweats, especially in older adults, can be a quiet early warning sign of blood-related cancers like lymphoma or leukemia. It happens because the body is working overtime while they sleep, trying to fight off abnormal cells that have slipped past the immune system. The internal temperature rises. The body releases sweat in waves. And by morning, everything is soaked. But families rarely connect the dots. We assume it's the warm blanket. We think it's a side effect of a new medication. Some even blame menopause, even if it ended years ago. But this isn't just mild perspiration. This is soaking through clothes, changing sheets every night, waking up shivering in a wet bed. And it doesn't go away. It lingers, quietly. So what can you do? Start with your environment. Check the room temperature. Switch to lighter bedding. Review their medications with a pharmacist. But if the sweats continue, especially if they're drenching, unprovoked, and consistent, don't dismiss it. Talk to a healthcare provider. Ask for a full checkup, not to jump to conclusions, but to catch something before it becomes more than just sweat. Because in the early stages, these cancers may show no other signs. No pain, no lumps, just a wet pillow and a body working hard behind the scenes. Let's not ignore what the body is trying to say. Now let's talk about something even more personal. Something your loved one might quietly keep to themselves. How their stomach feels the moment they open their eyes. Another morning symptom. Might not be something they feel. It could be something you see. You're helping your elderly mother brush her hair. The sun is coming through the window just right. And that's when you notice it. Her skin looks different. It's not just pale. It has a faint yellow tint. Her eyes too. The whites aren't as clear as they used to be. They look shadowed, tinted, faintly golden. She hasn't mentioned anything. She says she feels just fine. She even insists she slept great. But you know her face. You've seen it every day of your life. And something just isn't right. That yellowing. It's called jaundice. And it's more than just a color change. It's a signal. It means the liver isn't processing toxins properly. And when that happens, a substance called bilirubin builds up in the blood. Instead of being filtered out, it spills into the skin and the eyes, leaving behind that quiet yellow stain. Now here's where this gets serious. In elderly people, jaundice is sometimes one of the earliest visible signs of liver cancer, or pancreatic cancer, or a blockage in the bile ducts. It's not painful. It doesn't come with a cough or a fever. That's why it's so easy to miss or brush off. And we do. We tell ourselves, she's probably just tired. It's probably her new medication. Or maybe it's just the lighting. But when the same tint is there the next morning, and the next, it's time to pay attention. So what should you do? First, observe. Don't panic. Look at her eyes in natural light. Check the palms of her hands, the soles of her feet. Yellowing in these areas is a clue. Next, Take notes. When did you first notice it? Has it spread or darkened? Are there other symptoms, like darker urine, lighter stool, or itching? Finally, book a visit. Not just a routine checkup. Ask for liver function tests. Bring your notes. Be honest. Because with liver-related cancers, early detection can be the difference between manageable and untreatable. And here's something powerful to remember. Our skin is a storyteller. It reflects what's happening on the inside, even before words are spoken. And if we're watching closely, we just might catch the story in time. Now, there's one more sign, and it's often the hardest one to admit. Because this one hides behind silence, behind sleepiness, behind stillness. Let's talk about that final, quiet warning. Unusual fatigue in the morning. Now, let's take a step back and breathe. I know. This information can feel heavy, unsettling. Watching our loved ones, especially the elderly change in ways that we can't explain or can't fix right away, is deeply hard. It can stir up feelings of fear, of helplessness, of sadness, and maybe even a little guilt. You might find yourself thinking, did I miss something? Should I have noticed earlier? What if it's too late? It's normal to have those thoughts, to wonder, could I have done more? But here's the truth. You're already doing something important just by being here, by noticing, by asking the tough questions, by learning what you can do for your loved ones before it's too late. You see, as caregivers, we're often asked to be so strong, to carry the weight, to have all the answers. But the truth is, none of us are perfect, and we don't have to be. What matters is that we show up. We care. We ask for help when we need it, and we act on what we know. That's how we ensure that our loved ones feel safe, that their final years, however many they may be, are lived with dignity, with comfort, with love. Yes, these signs are hard to face, but understanding them means you can act, and acting early gives you more options. So, if you've noticed any of these signs in your elderly loved ones, I encourage you, don't wait. Don't let fear stop you from seeking help. Don't let uncertainty keep you from making that call, because the sooner you act, the sooner you can bring peace of mind. And that peace is worth everything. Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final thought. We all face difficult times in life, but we're not meant to go through them alone. We have each other, our families, our communities, and our voices. And when we lean on each other, we make a difference. Now, let's talk about what you can do next to protect your loved one's health. And what steps you can take today. It's painful, isn't it? Watching someone you love, someone who once stood tall, moved fast, laughed freely, begin to change in ways that feel unfamiliar. Subtle things, like how they wake up, how their energy fades, how their skin tells stories they can't explain. And maybe the hardest part? Those changes often come in silence. No complaints, no drama, just quiet shifts. A skipped breakfast here, a wet shirt there, a bruise that doesn't make sense. It's easy to brush them off, to tell yourself, that's just aging. But deep down, something nags at you. A feeling that maybe, just maybe, there's more to the story. And that's what makes this so hard. The not knowing, the wondering, the weight of what if. But here's the part one needs you to hold on to. Noticing these signs, catching them early, isn't about fear. It's not about jumping to conclusions or drowning in worry. It's about empowerment, about protection, about giving your loved one a better chance, a better outcome, because you were brave enough to pay attention. You are not just standing on the sidelines. You are their advocate. You are their voice, their support, their quiet strength. So here's what I ask of you today. Just take 10 minutes. 10 minutes to sit beside your loved one. Look them in the eyes. Ask them, how have you been feeling when you wake up? Not in a rushed or clinical way, but in the gentle way you'd speak to someone who matters to you. Because sometimes, that simple question, that act of slowing down and truly listening, can open the door to something important, something that needs to be said, something that needs to be checked. And if nothing's wrong, you've still given them the gift of being seen, of being heard. You don't need a medical degree. You don't need all the answers. You don't even need to know what to do next. What you do need is love, patience, awareness, and you already have those right there in your heart. So take a breath. You are not alone in this journey, and neither is your loved one. Together, with quiet action and steady compassion, you can make a difference. Now, let's take a moment to go over everything we've learned. because these 5 signs might just be the wake-up call that saves a life. So, let's bring everything we've learned today into focus. We talked about 5 key signs that show up quietly, often during the first few minutes of the day, and how these signs, though easy to dismiss, can sometimes be whispers of something more serious. Let's quickly go over them. Backhand index pointing right sign 1. That's sudden fatigue, like they just ran a marathon in their sleep. Not just tiredness, but a body that feels drained before the day even begins. Backhand index pointing right sign 2. A persistent cough or sore throat in the mornings. The kind that doesn't go away with tea or lozenges, that might signal something deeper happening in the lungs or throat. Backhand index pointing right sign 3. Night sweats. Not just warmth from a heavy blanket, but waking up drenched, needing to change clothes. That's not nothing. Backhand index pointing right sign 4. Nausea or digestive discomfort first thing in the morning. The kind that pushes breakfast away and just keeps happening. Backhand index pointing right and sign 5. Unexplained bruising or skin changes, especially when they don't remember bumping into anything. A signal that the blood or something beneath the surface isn't quite right. These signs aren't meant to scare you. They're meant to equip you. Because when we notice, we can act. And when we act early, we open the door to more time, more options, more peace of mind. Now I want to hear from you. Yes, you watching this right now. Speech balloon, which of these signs have you seen in someone you love? Maybe it's something that made you pause but didn't feel urgent, or something that's been happening a while and you've just chalked it up to aging. Drop a comment below. You never know who else might be going through the same thing. Sometimes, sharing your story helps someone else find clarity in theirs. And if you found this video helpful, if it opened your eyes or gave you something to think about, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Here at Elderly Healthy Wisdom, we talk about the real things, the hard things, the quiet things that often go unnoticed in senior care. But we do it together with compassion, truth, and hope. And there's more to come. More tools, more insight, more conversations that matter. Because you deserve to be informed, and your loved ones deserve to be seen. So thank you for being here, for caring, for choosing to walk this road with open eyes and an open heart. Until next time, stay strong, stay gentle, and stay wise. I'll see you in the next video. So, before we part ways today, let's gently walk through the key takeaways once more. Not to repeat them for the sake of it, but to let them settle into your awareness. So the next time you notice something, you'll know what it could mean. Here are 5 subtle morning signs you should never ignore in an elderly loved one. Persistent morning fatigue. That bone-deep exhaustion that hits them before the day has even started. It's not laziness. It's the body whispering something. Hoarseness or voice changes. When their voice sounds raspy, strained, or different every morning, and it just doesn't go away. Night sweats. Not just being a little warm. We're talking damp sheets, soaked pajamas, and a body trying to regulate something deeper than room temperature. Morning nausea. When food becomes unappealing, not because they're picky, but because their body is unsettled, especially at the start of the day. Unexplained bruising. When purple marks show up on their skin and no one remembers a fall. Especially if those bruises keep coming back or show up in strange places. These signs matter because they're quiet. And so often, we only connect the dots when the picture is already too big to ignore. But now you know what to look for. And that makes all the difference. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Speech balloon, have you ever noticed one of these signs in someone you care about? Maybe it was something small, something you brushed aside, or something that nagged at you but never seemed serious enough to act on. Share your experience in the comments. Because your voice, your story, might help another caregiver feel seen. Might help someone else take the step they've been unsure about. And if this video gave you a moment of clarity, if it helped you breathe a little deeper, or just feel more prepared for the journey ahead, then I invite you to subscribe to Elderly Healthy Wisdom. This space was made for you, for families like yours, for sons, dog, glowing star. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button, and turn on the little bell if you'd like to be gently reminded when our next video drops. And finally, thank you. Thank you for giving me your time today. Thank you for being the kind of person who listens, who learns, and who chooses to care. Stay strong, stay informed, and above all, stay hopeful. You're not alone in this. And I'll be right here, ready, whenever you need a little more wisdom on this journey. See you in the next video.